Hey guys, welcome back to Mindset Talks podcast. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of our Q&A session. Now tune in for part 2.
So on
Well,
to the next,
well,
so we can
whoo,
stop
y'all should
talking
be able
about
to put your tissues away now. So I think that was probably the roughest question of them all. No,
that. Well, I don't know. Let's see where we go from here.
right? Because everything is you can't expect anything with us.
Clearly not, because that
Yeah,
was not even at all planned. So,
right.
Mhm.
Hit me, bartender.
Oh, good. I gotta go again. So,
Yeah,
what is one last thing that you would do with your mom?
one last. Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. Because first of all, I'm asking how much time do I have? Because
Not that
like,
much.
oh well, shit. Not for no, not for my answer. For how much time I have with her, because
Oh,
oh my gosh, girl. Because I'm like, do we have a 24-hour window?
it's unlimited. It
You
doesn't
know,
matter.
because my mom, like we're gonna have to have like a whole setup with a cha-cha slide and the electric slide because she always be dancing, so we need a little moment to dance.
Yeah.
She liked her rollerblading, so we'll have to go skate. Probably take her to a skating rink for one, like a
Mm.
skating rink down south that got all the good music where you just be, vibing and skating and having the time of your life.
Yeah.
That. But if I could really do one thing with her, um, it would have been to take her to an Oakland Raiders football game because
Oh.
that was her team. Um, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but last I knew they did change the location of their stadium.
Oh.
So, I know they had like moved to like another place, so it wasn't like their original stadium location, but
Hmm.
one thing I would have done is brought her to that original location for a game, or at least just to a Raiders game and allow her to
Right.
just be rah-rah and having the time of her life and talking hella shit and then whistling mad loud with putting her fingers under her tongue with people whistle when they put their fingers under their tongue and it's so
Oh,
loud.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She Oh my gosh, she did that, and I have, like, ears like dog, like,
My
my
mom
ears
does
are
that too.
sensitive. Yes! Of course, of fucking course.
It's moms.
Right, but it's, like, so like, it hurts my ears, I have sensitive ears, so
Mm.
I always hated it when she did it because she would whistle so fucking loud. But, one last thing I would do with her is definitely, okay, so, like, we're gonna bring you back to my past life, and Cassie, I know you're gonna look at me funny, but it's my
Uh-oh.
mom, and it's something she enjoyed. But I would smoke a J with my mom and go to her with the game, and allow her to enjoy herself because that was her thing. So it had to be a whole like experience with her because she wasn't one to really drink. So
Yeah. No, I mean, that would've been cool.
no, that was her life, not mine.
You stupid.
What would you do with your daddy?
I don't that's a good question too. I don't, because I feel like me and my dad did a lot together,
Mhm.
We always did sports together. He took me to my first soccer game, like professional soccer game.
You took me to my first soccer game.
See? He was just that guy.
Oh my gosh.
What is one thing I would do? What is one last thing I would do? I mean, I don't know, cause he's done everything too. Like I told you, he like lived life to the fullest. So, like he's already
Mhm.
been to the Patriots games and he's been to the
Right.
Red Sox games and he's done all of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, like maybe like gone on like a vacation together, like just me and him, maybe, because like that's
Okay.
something that like we never did. But
Okay.
my dad also really isn't into vacations like that either. Like getting him to Hawaii was like, oh,
A
that was
trip.
like pulling teeth. Yeah. Cause like me and my mom, like we do trips together and stuff like that, but it wasn't really
Yeah.
like his thing. So I don't even know if I could necessarily say that either?
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. Maybe just like maybe just I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer to that question.
And you get a buzzard. Um Okay, so if you don't have a one last thing, where is some place you would bring him to?
Mm. That's also another hard one because I feel like so I guess that situation's a little different because my dad's had cancer for so long.
Hmm.
Like, I always had that bad feeling in the back of my head all the time to where, like, you never really knew, like, what was gonna happen, if something was gonna happen again or whatever.
Hmm.
And so I mean, maybe I'll just say the one thing that I always wanted to do for him, I'm thankful that I was actually able to do with him while he was still here.
Yep.
And even though it was like a short thing, so speaking of that trip to Hawaii, we could never go like the full length. Like we would never just go from here to there.
Yeah.
My parents were very adamant about like stopping halfway in between. So we stopped in like Vegas on the way there and Cali on the way back, or vice versa, or whatever.
Hmm.
And, on the one time when we stopped in Vegas, when I say stop in Vegas, like, we were there for, like, less than 24 hours, um, I was able to schedule a reservation for us to go to one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants out in Vegas,
That's
and
dope.
as well, I guess I just recently posted about our love
You
for
did.
for
You
Gordon
did.
Ramsay stuff, and so I was able to bring him to that restaurant, and that was I would say that was maybe, like, a year before all of the shit started happening again.
Hmm.
It was very close to the time frame where it started happening again, so it was good timing. And that was just kind of like a night to remember because even, in that kitchen, one of the previous winners of Hell's Kitchen still
Hmm.
worked in the kitchen.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we were able to see her, and we were, like, close to where they had, like, the kitchen and stuff like that, so, like, we can actually, like, see her, like, cooking and stuff, so
Oh, that's cool.
um, it was definitely an experience that I'm just so glad that we were able to do. So I don't
Oh,
think that there's anything that would be able to top that, to be honest.
you already did it.
Yeah, thankfully.
Okay. Overachiever. She already got it done.
But like I said, I think that's just because of my dad's history. Like,
Right.
if he never had cancer, that long time ago, like, maybe, I never would have thought to do something like that.
Right.
So, yeah,
Jeez, girl. No stones unturned.
try not to.
Gosh.
What about well, I mean, I guess maybe that's kinda like the same answer for the other one for you, or do you have somewhere else that you'd bring
Um,
your mom?
I have another place. And it was a place that made me really happy and that I really enjoyed and would have loved to just have my mom there.
Hmm.
And that was when I went to St. Croix for the first time in
Oh,
April of 2018.
nice.
Oddly, I went there for my aunt's funeral, but it was also my first time experiencing the island.
Mhm,
And I just felt like so at peace. And like maybe that's when a new version of me started to like rebirth or something,
mhm.
because there's like, it'll always be memorable to me
Yeah.
for just how I felt there and just the water and the beach. And it was just so pleasant and relaxing. So, um, I would call that like one of my like happiest places. So
Oh,
to allow myself to bring my mom to one of my happiest places would be it. But otherwise, the stadium,
yeah. Those
the
sound like
stadium.
two very good ones, and she would have absolutely adored both of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been cool.
Yeah.
So since you just talked about Gordon Ramsay, and I don't know if we mentioned this in one of our other episodes, but what is one last dish of his that you would love to have from your dad?
Oh, we've definitely talked about this, and if I haven't talked about it in an episode, it was definitely in one of our stories. And something that I'm forever craving is his beef stroganoff. It was just
Beef,
to die
beef,
for,
beef,
and,
beef,
like,
beef.
there would never be any noodle or piece of steak left unturned.
She'd be like, I would lick the plate clean. Oh
It
my
was just
gosh.
really good. What about you?
Uh, I really can't decide
It could be
between.
for your grandma too. I don't know who his
Oh,
better cook was.
my grandma. Love you, mom, but grandma was a better cook. But no, I think personally, just that stuffed shrimp that my mom made would be plenty. I, even though it's not a meal, but I can eat
Mm,
enough of them to be full. So
that's true. It is pretty good.
keep it nice and simple. The stuffed shrimp,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I did mention that in the other episode too. But that's all right.
It's yummy either
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
So What is something that you wish that you learned about them?
Something I wish I learned. Um, Good question, Amanda. um, so I know one thing I learned is that my mom had uh like she had a more wild youth, and like when she was in her 20s she had a lot of wild times,
Hmm.
which I actually learned about like months before her passing, and I felt like I haven't really lived.
Oh
Um,
god.
I'm like, wow, you lived life on the edge a little bit.
I don't think anyone's lived as much as their parents who, like, grew up during, like, the '70s, but anyways.
Right. No, that's really true. That's a very valid point. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Some of our classmates, I think, had a good time,
Oh, that's
but
true.
that's just you ain't hear it from me. Uh, but something I wish I learned about her. Um, Damn, why did I put this question on here? This is
I don't know,
hard.
'cause I don't know if I have an answer either.
I don't want to get the buzzard. Something I wish I had learned.
But I guess you also don't know what you don't know.
I mean, yeah, but I just feel like you partially confused me with that, but I get it. Like you don't know what you don't know, but like what is something you wish you knew?
Mhm. Mm, yeah, I don't
Right?
know. I don't know either.
Um, can I skip this question and come back to it?
Fine. I mean,
So
okay, so I guess maybe for me, it would be where did his drive come from? Because my dad was such a hard worker, and no matter how tired he was, he would always be up at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning to, like, get ready to go golfing and stuff, and, like, even if I loved something that much, to get me up
right.
at that time of day to, do what I
If it
wanted.
ain't food, I ain't with it.
Even that. But, like, I guess just what motivated him? Like, what was that inside of him that, like, just allowed him to do everything that he did, and where did that energy come from, and that just the will to, like, live life to the fullest because, I feel like we all kind of have that in a way, but we also have, like, a lazy side, and I don't think I ever saw a lazy side from my dad at all,
Mm,
and I would just like to maybe pick his brain a little bit more about, you know, how did that happen? Like, where does that come from?
right. Is it in his bloodline? Is it just technique? Did he experience something to just keep him going?
Yeah,
Was it because he became a parent and he just kept pushing through to be, leading by example?
right, I don't know, and, like, to really, like, get more into, like, his mindset, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I
S-
really wish I wanna know. Damn it.
Something I so it's not something that I wish I learned about her, but something I wish I learned from her
Hmm.
was how to drive a standard. Like,
That's a good one too. My dad taught my sister, never taught me.
oh damn, you got gypped, yeah. So and my mom loved like driving a standard. Like she would talk about it all the time.
Hmm,
And we know she was a speed demon and your life was partially on the line if you drove with her anyways. So,
hmm.
we figured that one out quick. But I I didn't learn how to drive a standard from her. I learned how to drive a dirt bike, which is essentially a standard, but you're shifting with your foot rather than your hands. And then last year, I did uh, get a little practice on driving a standard,
Nice.
which
Didn't go very well, huh?
well, by the time we were done, like I got it figured out, and I was offered the opportunity to drive like on the road with other cars, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. But I laughed because there was this one time I stalled the car really bad, and we're in the car like bloop 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 bloop, like rocking
Oh
back and forth
god.
because I stalled it so bad. And I could just picture my mom like watching me like this fucking idiot. Like, what are you doing? Like, you about to mess up this whole car.
Oh god.
But I could just picture her watching me and shaking her head like, no, Braffett, you gotta do blah 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 instead.
Yeah.
So like when I saw the car all that time, I was like dying laughing harder than I needed to, but because I pictured my mom watching me. But
Hmm.
Eventually I figured it out. Like it's really not hard to drive a standard, but it's just
Like riding the bike. Once you like know how to do it, you're good.
yeah, it just requires quite a bit of coordination that you're not used to when you start off on an automatic is all that really is.
Gotcha.
So that's what I could say for that part.
That's a good one though. I think that's that would be a good thing to learn for sure.
Hell yeah. Nowadays you could just walk because I don't even want to buy gas.
It's true.
Yeah. So what is something you learned about your dad after the loss?
Um, I would say just really I mean, obviously, like, I knew my dad, like, I loved him and whatever, but I think after he left, I would say I really learned, like, how just dope he was because seeing the support that he received from, like, all of his friends and his coworkers and, like, people like, that part of his life that, like, I didn't know, seeing them
Mhm.
all, like, after the fact, just really let me know, like, how much like, people loved my dad and how much of an impact he made on everybody's life. It was really heartwarming to see that because, like, of course, like, he's, like, my world, your parents are your world, you love them to death and stuff, but to see
Of
other people,
course.
like, show up and have that same kind of, like, love and respect, it was
Mhm.
it was really cool, and just to see, like, that legacy and, like, that impact that he truly left on people, it was I don't know, it was definitely an eye opener and very interesting for me to
Okay.
see.
That's always nice. It's warming. It's
Yeah,
like, wow.
it's pretty
Cuz
cool.
but when you actually like see it and hear it,
Mhm.
it's like, damn, okay.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't really know how else to describe it, but
Yeah. You don't need to use other words. That's fine.
yeah.
Something I learned after.
Did you learn anything afterwards?
Um, I learned my mom had more money than I thought she had.
Well, that's what all those insurances and stuff will do.
Right. I was like, oh. I don't know. I felt like I knew a lot about my mom.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I haven't really come across kind of like the same previous questions, like something I wish I had learned about her.
Mhm.
Because I feel like if there are some things I wanted to know about her, I could just ask my aunt or one of my uncles.
Right.
Um, and then I don't want to necessarily like answer in the same fashion you did because that is something you do learn after a loss is
Yeah.
like how impactful that person was and how many people like truly were not necessarily in their circle but like people who really like fucked with them.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was like you said eye opening, but I don't think I really have um
No deep dark secrets about your mom that you found out afterwards. And you're like, "Mom, what the fuck?"
nope, I ain't got no other brothers or sisters I didn't know about.
Oh god.
Yeah. No.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, I don't no, I don't think I have anything.
No? Well, there's still
Yeah.
time to learn.
No, this is true. There's still plenty of time. Someone could spill the beans anytime, anytime. But yeah, pretty satisfied with what I know.
Well, that's good. As
Yes.
long as you're at peace with those kinds of things and whatever, that's definitely something that's important.
Yes. And even though we ask each other these questions, I would love for our viewers and our listeners to kind of talk to us about the same questions we've asked. I mean,
Yeah.
there's as you see, there are some answers that are just going to be similar and most answers are going to be different, but even so it's just how much do you really know about the person you just lost or
Mhm.
how much more did you want to learn and I
Yeah.
don't know.
And some answers might just come out of nowhere that you never thought about before.
Yeah, ain't that the truth, coming from the
Oh,
deepest pits of all pits.
yeah. I mean, when you really sit down and think about it, I guess things just kind of pop up that, you
You
try
don't
to
expect.
push down.
peekaboo. No, but peekaboo. Yeah. But you got any more gems to drop or any other questions you have to just blindside either of us with?
Not really. I mean, just kind of I feel like the moral of this whole episode today is just to make sure that you appreciate the people that are around you and don't wait until they get some diagnosis or until you don't have the opportunity to ask them things and tell them how much you appreciate them and stuff because you truly never know what's going to happen tomorrow, as cliche as that always sounds. And
It's the truth.
just really really just take the time, take the few minutes out of your day or whatever to appreciate those around you and ask those questions, silly, hard, whatever the case might be, because you
Right.
never want to regret something after the fact. And don't wait to take those vacations and do those things and sporting events and whatever. I know now's a little, rough because of COVID and whatever, but
Right.
do what you can and do it now.
Exactly. Leave no stones unturned.
Exactly.
And per
Mhm.
usual, it's always my favorite part.
It is.
I would say one of my favorite parts because it's not my most favorite part. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, your favorite podcasting platforms. Mindset Talks Podcast. It's your two girls here that you can just spend as much time with us, listening to us, and viewing us on your phones, computers, tablets, whatever is accessible. We're here and we would love for you guys to continue to tune into us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. You should just continue to uplift us here on our show as we continue to uplift you with our good words.
Yes. And per usual, until next time, we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.